Welcome to the Growth Lab, where business ambition meets motherhood. I'm Luba, a mom of three, a self-made millionaire, speech-language pathologist, and founder of 2 clinics in sensory play gyms and a mobile therapy bus unit. Join me each week as we dive into what it takes to grow successful business, balance family, and create real impact. I'll share my hard-won insights and bring on inspiring entrepreneurs with stories you won't want to miss. Let's turn dreams into action, build with purpose, and thrive on our own terms. Welcome to the Growth Lab. Let's build, scale, and thrive together. Let's get this party started. This episode is sponsored by Kidology Inc., a nationally recognized pediatric therapy provider. Kidology Inc. delivers comprehensive speech, occupational, physical, and behavior therapy services in a multidisciplinary, multilingual setting. With multiple clinic locations, a mobile therapy bus, sensory play gyms, Kidology ensures access to high-quality, personalized care for children of all abilities. Recognized by the Inc. 5000 and the Philadelphia Inquirer as top workplace and industry leader, Kidology Inc. remains committed to innovation, inclusion, and measurable outcomes. To learn more, visit kidologyinc.com or follow Instagram at Kidology Inc. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Growth Lab. You're here today with Luba Patlak and Cori Wamsley. So I am absolutely thrilled today to welcome Cori Wamsley. Cori is not only the award-winning author behind Enchanting Soul Sisterhood series, filled with best friend stories, sweet romance, and a touch of magic, she's also a passionate publisher and the founder of Aurora Corialis. Did you get it, guys? It is a publishing house that helps authors bring their personal stories and vibrant fiction to life. Beyond her books and business, Cori is a mom of 2 creative tween daughters living in Pittsburgh with her family. When she's not writing or championing other writers, you'll find her painting, crafting, playing piano, singing, and dreaming up her next European adventure. Cori's story is a beautiful blend of creativity, entrepreneurship, motherhood, and heart, and I can't wait to dive into it with you today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having
me. Hope you liked your intro. So welcome back. I know you were away on a trip, so are you back to reality now?
Yeah, I've been in reality a couple days now.
And people are always like, how was your vacation? I'm like, what vacation? Did I go somewhere? 'Cause by the time you get back as an entrepreneur, it's so hard to jump back into everything, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to just quickly dive into some questions about your style. Your books weave magic, self-discovery, friendship, and history. What drives and inspires you to tell these types of stories?
I sometimes feel like my characters just kind of come in and they won't leave me alone until I tell their stories. So there's that. But I'm inspired by a lot of different things I hear. And I'm always thinking about when I hear a story, especially if it's one that didn't turn out well, I always want to say, well, what would happen if they had this support? Or what would happen if instead of saying this, they had said this and they went down this path? And I always have a happy ending with my stories. So I think that's always what pulls me through. I want everything to have a happy ending.
Oh, I really love that. And because, and there's something mystical about that, being a little girl and you're like, well, why wasn't there a happy ending? Because that's what you always hope and dream will happen. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you got here. What drew you to become an author and a publisher?
So I spent a lot of time reading books in my basement growing up. My parents actually used to joke that I was a mushroom because I was just in the basement reading books all the time. When I was in middle school, I started kind of writing short stories, and then I actually am pretty evenly balanced, left brain, right brain. So I started out majoring in biology, but then I picked up a major in English because I found out you can major in reading books. And what could be more appealing than that? So I did that, went through the master's program at the same school as well. When I came out, I ended up working as a scientific and technical writer for a couple different government agencies. I did that for 10 years, and then I left there when my kids were little, and I started freelancing. So I was doing a lot of press releases, web copy, that sort of thing. But along the way, I had also written 5 novels, and I had worked with an agent for a couple of years, which we didn't really get anywhere with them. And I knew I really wanted to get these out there. And a friend suggested self-publishing. So when I was pregnant with my 12-year-old now, well, obviously she wasn't 12 when I was pregnant, but when I was pregnant with her, I decided I was going to self-publish all 5 of my novels instead of, getting the nursery ready or doing normal nesting things.
You're
So
like, yeah, I'm just gonna start publishing these books.
yeah, no big deal. But I did that, and then when I started my own business a couple years later, when I had 2 little ones at home, people would find out that I had written all these books because I was using that as some of my credentials. I have these degrees, I have this experience, and I've written 5 books. And everyone would be like, well, I have to write a book for my business. How do I do that? So then I started leaning more into the book stuff. I started editing books. I started coaching programs where I could help people write their books. And then after a few years, I ended up starting my publishing house in 2021 because it turns out entrepreneurs are very busy and they don't really have time to figure out how to write a book, how to handle all the pieces, how to publish it, what to do afterward.
They have
So if I could
valuable
take
insight,
that.
but they don't have the ability to process it by themselves.
Yeah, it's a lot. Personal experience.
My gosh, I'll tell you. Actually, fun fact, after I graduated from college, I wanted to be in broadcast journalism and I lived in Manhattan. And at the time, and I was in publishing and journalism for a long time. But I wanted to be in broadcast. But one of the jobs I was able to get was being a publishing assistant at Oxford University Press. So I'm super familiar with reading through transcripts and going home with stacks this high of documentation to bring back corrected. I'm actually published, my name is published in the Encyclopedia of African American History. It's like a 7-volume series that they sent me after I was done the job to keep as a present since I was in it. So super
Wow.
cool. I have a little bit of background in that and also worked in magazines before I got into becoming a speech pathologist. So it's all relative because we're communicating our thoughts and feelings. And I love that you are utilizing it to bring people out of the day to day and into fantasy, which I think is actually really needed. It's just as good as meditation, I would say. And also then allowing people that creative outlet to give out their information. So you're doing such a good deed on both sides, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
What tell us about the process of publishing a little bit, because you self-published. How is that different than using a publishing house? And this was long before, the Amazon publishing. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on those things.
Yeah. So looking at it today, we kind of have like 3 options basically. Most authors are familiar with indie publishing or with traditional publishing. And, traditional is when you are pitching to agents, the agents pitch to the publishing house, and then, you might get to sign a contract with an actual publisher. Once you're doing that, then the publisher is the one working with you. They have editors, they have cover designers, all of that. But because of the fact that you're working with a publisher, they get to give you, a cut of the royalties, but then they also have to, pay their staff and all of that, cover their end of the costs. So the way they're looking at it is what is going to be marketable for us. So they're also going to have a really heavy hand in how they're editing the book. They might change your title. They might say, well, I want you to talk about your dog
Because they
in
know it
chapter 3.
sells. They're
Yeah,
not going to
because
just want it to be something good. So you're advising from that A to Z perspective, which is actually amazing.
yeah, well, that's the traditional publishing model. The indie publishing is if you're, searching for all the professionals, walking through the process with them, you're the one ultimately making decisions. So you have a lot of control, but unless you have a lot of marketing experience, you don't have as much of an idea of what is going to be marketable. So you do have to consider that. And then we kind of meet it in the middle with Aurora Corialis and with a lot of other hybrid publishing models. So we're in the middle where we give you a little more control, but we're guiding you and we're saying, hey, I don't think this is going to be good with your brand. Because most of the people I work with are coaches and speakers. So they usually have an established brand. So I'm trying to help them create something that's going to market well for them, not as much for me as the publisher. So that's kind of the in-between space that I'm occupying.
I don't even realize how much goes into it, to be honest with you. It's very, very intricate type of work. What defines for you a good book?
So, as far as the nonfiction stuff that we work on, what I really love to see is a lot of storytelling, a lot of personal experience, a lot of opening up, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to get people to connect with your brand. If you're just giving them, the checklist or something that's more like a blog post that doesn't include personal experience, it's going to read a little more like a textbook. So, if you think about like when you used to read textbooks when you were in school, there wasn't anything in there that indicated you wanted to connect with the author of that textbook. They weren't giving you personal experience. Yeah. So what I like to see is where people are sharing some of what they've been through or what they've worked on with their clients, kind of how they've gotten to the point where they are now. And those are the ways that, in general, brands really connect with people. As far as fiction books go, I love to see really richly developed characters, a lot of, again, that diving in and getting to know people. I want to be friends with the characters in the books that I'm reading. So that's what I love to see in fiction.
This episode is sponsored by Kidology Inc., a nationally recognized pediatric therapy provider. Kidology Inc. delivers comprehensive speech, occupational, physical, and behavior therapy services in a multidisciplinary, multilingual setting. With multiple clinic locations, a mobile therapy bus, sensory play gyms, Kidology ensures access to high-quality, personalized care for children of all abilities. Recognized by the Inc. 5000 and the Philadelphia Inquirer as top workplace and industry leader, Kidology Inc. remains committed to innovation, inclusion, and measurable outcomes. To learn more, visit kidologyinc.com or follow Instagram at Kidology Inc.
As a mom of two daughters, how does being a mother shape your creative work and vice versa?
Yeah. So sometimes I am inspired by the things that they do and say. A lot of it is more.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I actually did write a book with my oldest when she was 5 because she just walked in the office. Like she thinks this is normal. Both my kids do. They think that everybody writes books and it's really nothing to them to meet an author. They're not impressed the way I was when I would meet an author in like 4th grade. But my daughter walked in the office and she said, "I want to write a book about my stuffed monkey coming to life and granting wishes." I said, "Okay. I got that." So I sat down with her and walked her through that process, which in turn, helped me see how it was to walk somebody through that process because I was in the early stages of figuring out writing coaching. So being able to do that with her, I hope that not only showed her, hey, you have an idea, it could be possible, but also like you can have control over this. And like she's 12 now and she is a really good artist. She loves drawing. So I'm hoping that I gave her the idea that, even if you are creative, like there is space out there for you. You may have to carve your niche, you may have to figure things out, but you can do that. So I hope that I've been able to do that for them.
That's such a incredible start to both understanding business and developing your creativity. How can families look for those types of traits in their children?
Yeah, I usually watch for just what they're interested in. Like my younger one, she loves dogs. So we haven't really seen anything that's, translatable to business, but every once in a while I'll catch little things. She is a list maker. She is organized. She loves all of those kind of things. So I've tried giving her, they've been my kid turns, like interns this summer.
Oh, I love
So
that.
just very
Putting them to
little
work is
things.
very important.
Yeah, so very little things. So like with my oldest, I would say to her, "Hey, can you create some images for me?" Because I know she is hyper creative and that's going to really get her interested. And with my younger one, I'm like, "Hey, can you make a list of this? Can you help me organize this? Could you count out all the books in these boxes and make sure that there are 6 of each in each of the boxes," or something like that. Because she's more that like organizational sort of skill set. So I would say just kind of watch what you're seeing with them and where their interests lie. And of course, there's going to be plenty of days where they're like, "No, I'm not doing anything for you."
It's interesting because where we are, so I own the private practice clinics. I'm a speech pathologist. Before I am a host of this wonderful podcast, I am a speech pathologist and I have two brick and mortar clinics here in Pennsylvania, but we're in the Philly area, so a little bit not near you, maybe
Yeah.
one day. And my kids love to come to the play gym, but sometimes it's a huge mess because we'll come at the end of the day and I have to take care of some things here. So they go to play, but they know that at the end of the night, they have to put it back together how it should look. So they're like, Mom, don't worry, we're going to help you. And they'll clean the chalkboard, they'll put all the balls in the ball pit, they'll organize everything because they're starting to understand aesthetically, like if they come to a location, if they're a consumer, or a client of this business and it has to look a certain way. So I love to basically implement those skills with them early on, not just cleaning at home, which they never do, by the way. Here they'll do it, but at home they refuse. We're working on it.
Yeah.
But just like you, capitalizing on what they're capable or wanting to do, at least for that moment. And they love it because they're like, I'm working here, and I'm so proud because I hope that one day all they're learning today will drive and motivate them to work hard for their future selves.
Yeah.
In terms of you, what is keeping you motivated when you're writing book after book and guiding other authors in the journey of developing their own ideas for books? Where do your ideas stem from?
Well, a lot of the motivation with my clients comes from their drive. It's really interesting when we do that initial call where they start talking about their book. If I ask them, why is this so important to you to get this out? They will start into a story and you can just feel this, like the energy kicks up about 10 notches because there is something driving them. And when I hear that, I always tell them, okay, write that down because you need to make sure that that's, somewhere you can access it when you feel like you're done with me and done with this book. But then I'm keeping that in mind too. Like this is what they want to get this out for. This is their big purpose. So that helps me to, help them get through the process. With my own books, I just love it. I love sitting down and crafting these pieces and kind of like slipping into the head of my my characters, getting in there and being like, well, how would she answer that? What would she say? A lot of my writing is stream of consciousness. So I'm kind of like being them and, seeing almost a movie of how things are happening in their world. And I'm sitting here describing it as I'm like watching the movie. So I don't know. It's
I'm
fun for
envisioning
me.
you as like, and this is all I can pinpoint, and for all the Sex and the City watchers, the Carrie Bradshaw sitting in front of her laptop, like erasing the sentence, putting it back, erasing the sentence, putting it back, coming up with ideas. Are you familiar with it? But I mean, I'm sure you understand the
Yeah.
feeling. But because she was a writer for a publication in the show, she continued to. That's the visual I have when you're talking about yourself, like working on it. Where is the ideal place to work to come up with these ideas? Like, do you lock yourself in a room? Is it dark? Is it bright? Where are you?
I'm right here. This is pretty
This is your
much my
spot?
workspace.
So
Yeah.
what do you have a window?
I do. I have two windows and they're over there, so you guys can't see them. And then I actually have a huge cabinet over this way, and it's got all my books in it that
Oh, I love that. Your
I
own
love
personal
looking over.
library.
Yeah, it's my library.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So has there been a moment in your career that deeply validated your choice to pursue this creative path?
I wouldn't say there's really one moment. It's, just a string of moments. Every time I, get a cover back, that's always a really tangible one for people.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, like you finally see like everything I've created. And for me, that's like, 70,000 to 80,000 words. And here it is as a picture. Like that really does it for a lot of people. Just being able to see that, it's always like, all right, yes, I have something physical. Like I have my book here with me and I'm like, this is something physical. I can touch my thoughts, which is
So cool.
interesting. Yeah.
Is that your newest book, The Good
Yes.
Theory? Can
Yes,
you
this
tell us a little
is.
bit about this book?
Yeah, so Good in Theory is about a woman who she like her whole world falls apart. She basically goes from like tacos to chaos
Oh my
all
gosh.
in one evening. So she's with her lab crew and they're celebrating that they just wrapped up this like decades long project. And she's kind of new career, like newer to the lab. So she's navigating that space where she isn't, senior staff or anything. She's new. And so she's got all the same feelings that people have when they're in that new space. Am I good enough? Am I going to be able to make it? What do my coworkers think of me? Like those kind of things. And when she leaves that celebration, she comes back home and her apartment's on the same plateau as the lab, because they have a lot of apartments there for the people who work there. And she comes back and there's like people in hazmat suits, there's vans, like everybody's evacuating her apartment building. And she pulls up to her friend and is like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, oh my God, it's bad. Something happened. They're not telling us. It turns out there's a leak and they want to make sure that everything isn't contaminated. So they told everybody to pack for like 2 weeks. So she leaves and she's texting her boyfriend, trying to get a hold of him. He's a new boyfriend. So she's like, is it okay if I stay at your house? He doesn't answer. She shows up and there's something shady going on. And no, he's not cheating on her. There's something shady going on. He's there with his business partner. So she's like, I have nowhere to go. So she loses her, basically her job, her home, and her boyfriend all in one fell swoop. She calls her dad. Her dad's on vacation. And he says, well, why don't you call your cousin? She hasn't talked to her in 10 years. And so he sends her the number and she contacts her and her cousin ends up saving her. So the story follows her and her cousin kind of reconnecting and figuring out like what happened 10 years ago that made them disconnect because they were best friends.
Oh my God. You just like shifted me. I'm like over here about the lab and things evacuating. Yeah. I'm still invested in her losing all these things. And then you totally took me. Now it's like with the cousin and the reconnecting. And I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And I'm feeling that as some vibe here in this book. Yeah. This sounds like a really good story.
Thank you. Yeah. And it follows their relationship. It follows their relationship and then going back to the lab and figuring out what's going on there. And then there's also a romantic plot line too.
So are a lot of yours romantic?
There's always
Are you a romantic person?
I tend to be.
I'm all about it. I love that. I love to dive into a book that has like something special or like some kind of heartbreak turn, next level love story. It's really like something about that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. What does success look like for you right now beyond sales and awards? Obviously, you could tell us about that too, but in the big scope of things, what does success look like for you?
I think on the publishing house end, happy clients, people who are getting, the book that they really wanted for their business, that I'm helping their dreams come true. And on my end, my goal is to empty a box at a book event. So when I go to, I have an event this weekend that's like 2 days long. When I go there, I want to empty a couple boxes. So I think empty boxes are really a marker of my success. I love getting the box and then I love selling everything that's in it.
That's awesome. Do you go to a lot of shows?
I have this year. My kids are 10 and 12, so they're at a point now where I can be like, all right, I'm going to leave you alone for a couple hours and I'm going to go over here and do this. Yeah, so I've started this year more.
That's great. And speaking of, so this is a perfect segue into this question. How do you balance, you have so many roles. You're a writer, you're a publisher, you're an entrepreneur, and you're the most important job, a mom. What are some rituals or habits that help you successfully balance your life?
So I had a friend describe work-life balance one time as being on a tightrope and just you sway this way a little bit one time and then you sway this way a little bit the next time. So there's not really like, I'm going to spend this amount of time every single day on my business and this amount of time every single day with my kids. It's a lot of ebb and flow, a lot of give and take, a lot of like, hey, I know you're working on this. I know you have homework, for example, but can you start on the homework? I'm wrapping up a project. You do what you can, and then I'll come in and I'll help you with what you can't do. So they've learned, like, I'm hoping that they're learning how to be a little more independent and try things on their own first, because I ultimately want to raise functioning humans.
Of course.
So there's a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that give and take. They've actually taken over the role of cooking dinner a lot because they seem to like it. Yeah, I've been impressed because they won't eat what I cook most of the time. So I've kind of cut back. I also have food allergies, so it's really hard for me to figure out how to make, 3 different meals. But a lot of times I'll be in here working at like 4:30 thinking like, okay, I've got a little bit of time to figure out that we're making tacos again. And I'll hear banging around in the kitchen. And sure enough, they're out there. They're like, well, we're hungry. So we decided to go ahead and get stuff. So they are pretty driven by food, at least.
Maybe there's going to be a cookbook.
It would be a lot of tacos.
That is somebody, I had a mentor who once taught me, and she was working with busy moms, and she basically said, hands down, number one rule in every home, must sit for dinner. Even if it's 10 minutes, sit down together for dinner. And personally, I'm in a little bit of a tough spot right now because my kids are 9, 7, and 3.5. And generally, we're not home at the same time. Somebody's at baseball practice, somebody's at cheerleading, we're at dance, this guy's got soccer. Like, we're not home to eat dinner together.
Yeah.
But when that opportunity does arise, it's literally amazing because just between all of our busy schedules and truly connecting with the family when you do have that time, like even 10 minutes, she said, you got to sit down for dinner. That for me is a big balance piece. So if you're not, try to at least a couple of times a week. And I know maybe for you, it's easier than for me at this age with them, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on how hungry they are. Because a lot of times I'll come in and say, okay, can you guys kind of pause? I'm going to make mine and then we'll all have dinner together. But there are times when I walk in and they're like halfway through and I'm like,
right. You're
you
like,
didn't even
okay,
say.
there's dinner. Oh, do you guys get a chance to do some activities together or like separate your time per child, perhaps?
They both do dance. My husband works in sports, so a lot of times he's gone in the evenings and on weekends. So we're, juggling stuff here by ourselves. But I'll, it seems like a lot of our activities are like watch a movie together or, we had game night last night, which was interesting. My
What did you guys play?
We played Life, which,
Oh, okay.
as it turns out, none of us like except my youngest, because she is the one who likes to be organized and do things. So she was the cop and the banker. So she was the one running the show, and the rest of us were just there moving the cars.
There's always one. There's always.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see what it'll be for my family. What lights you up lately, whether it's a story idea or a personal goal or just something for fun?
Well, my story ideas always light me up. I would stay up all night writing if I could, but I know I don't function well without sleep. I actually just tried out for a musical and I'm in it. So that's been taking up a lot of my
This is
time.
incredible.
Yeah, it's Forbidden Broadway, so it's mostly like just songs. And I'm cast as Liza Minnelli, BB Newirth, and Donna, I think it was McKechnie or something.
Is there any chance you're gonna give us a little bit of song, like it's something tiny bit?
I can do the. This is how I've been annoying my children. I like to just walk into a room and go, ah, because
Oh my gosh.
that's in the
Men-
Liza Minnelli song.
You're definitely going to have to share. I'm going to follow up on this. I'd love to see videos. I think this is so, so awesome. Wow. I wanted to ask you a couple of fun questions. What is your go-to creative outlet that's other than writing when you're feeling stuck?
Yeah. So I play the piano a little bit. It's not my gift. I'll
Well,
just
we're
say
learning
that.
so much about your musical talents today, so
Well, I like to play popular music and sing with it. So usually I'm doing like the bass hand and then singing with it,
so
just because I
cool.
like singing. I do that. I draw and I paint. So I actually have like a couple paintings in the office that I've done. Yeah, those are my
I'm
creative outlets.
fascinated by you. You're the full creative package. I love to, even though I'm not the best painter, but I feel like it's so relaxing to get the paint out, and I love to do that stuff with my kids. So it's just, I understand that. I
Yeah.
understand how that could fuel you because I'm similar. But is there a dream European city that you'd spend your whole summer in?
Well, I've been to London and we keep talking about going back, and that's actually my oldest daughter's name, because my husband and I got
Oh,
engaged in London.
so
So we
beautiful.
wanted to give her that name. I would love to go back to London just as like an ease into Europe again, because I haven't been for years and I only speak a little bit of Spanish. Like I'm doing my Duolingo every day, but I don't think I could cut it other than asking for a pen or the bathroom. And then I only speak like ballet French. So other than saying croissant, I probably couldn't get anywhere there. So probably London, but I would love to go to every country. I think it's just, there's so much to see.
Oh my God, I feel you. There is. What is the last book you stayed up reading way too late?
Um, well, I have a habit of pushing it until I know I'm only going to get my 8 hours.
Is the book just like falling on your face? The book just like falls on your face.
Um, well, right now I'm reading The Happy Place by Emily Henry, and it's been really good. And I actually, I get car sick, but on my way back from the beach, I was like, if I read for just like 5 minute stints, I'll probably be okay. So
Yeah.
I kept like reading and then I'd look up and reading and look up. And I'm still not done with the book, but I've been doing that at night too. Like, okay, if I read for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm getting somewhere.
Audiobook or holds in your hand?
I have to hold it in my hand. Otherwise, I would probably like tune it out.
Okay.
I'm around a lot of noise, just having, my kids home. There's actually the other side of me is our living room. So there's a TV directly behind me. So sometimes I can hear that. And I'm not great about tuning out all the noise, but I imagine I would end up doing that if I was listening to an audiobook.
Interesting. Sometimes when I drive, I love it, but then I do have to replay parts because I get distracted or I have to
Yeah.
do something. So yeah, that makes so much sense. Are you familiar with the show Younger?
I've heard of it, but I haven't
It's an
watched
older
it.
show, but there are many seasons, and it's about a mom who works in publishing, leaves her job to take care of her daughter, and then wants to get a job again in publishing, and nobody will hire her. So she lies about her age, and then they give her a job, and she ends up like getting a younger boyfriend. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing show. But she works in a humongous publishing house in New York City, and all they do all the time is like read books, talk about books, write their own books, go to shows. So I thought it would be relevant, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. This is not a commercial for Younger, but I don't know. I felt like I should tell you. Anyway, Cori, it has been amazing. You are so talented, so creative, just so lovely. I loved hearing about you and understanding a little bit about your background. What is on the horizon? Like, what's new? What's coming next?
Well, I have another book coming out in March. It does not have a title yet, but I'm kind of playing with,
The titleless book.
yeah, sometimes the title just comes to me when I'm in the middle of writing it, but I'm playing with like The Fire Between Our Lives, Ashes and Other Inheritances, like some different titles. Nothing's really been like, yes, this is it. But yeah, it actually picks up on a story that I heard that happened in Canonsburg, which is near where I live. Apparently there was a spark. This was like in 1911. So there was a spark in a
Whoa.
theater and somebody yelled fire and everybody ran out and a lot of people ended up like getting trampled in the stairway. So a really sad story. But a lot of the business owners in that area think that, the ghosts of those people are kind of in they're like, messing with the lights or whatever. And I heard that because my stylist works there. She was the one telling me that she's like cutting my hair and telling me this story. It's like, oh, there's something there. I have to tell this story. So I ended up,
Interesting.
yeah, so I took that and ended up working with a character who she passed in that fire. I turned it into a real fire and turned it into a different town. She passed in that fire and then her soul came back as this new character. So it was like a past life. And she's getting these clues from a diary she found, and it ended up belonging to her past life. So she's reading about what she used to do and trying to piece this mystery together that she was solving in her past life. And it's over 100 years later. And she also falls in love.
I'm interested in this book as well, so I can't wait for it to come out. This sounds awesome. Can you just let everyone know if they're interested in publishing or they want to check out more of your books? Where on social media or online can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook as Cori Wamsley, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find me at auroracorialispublishing.com or coriwamsley.com for my books. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer anybody. I will respond to DMs and stuff too.
You are so awesome. We have loved chatting with you today, myself and the audience. I really, really, really wish you the most like the biggest luck because I see how passionate you are about what you're doing and you're helping other people. Like I said, I'd really like to talk to you myself, if that's okay, about maybe publishing something as well. And I'm looking forward to talking with you again. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have comments, give us a like. Follow this amazing podcast, The Growth Lab, so you can hear more inspiring stories like Cori's. And we'll catch you next time.
This episode is sponsored by Kidology Inc., a nationally recognized pediatric therapy provider. Kidology Inc. delivers comprehensive speech, occupational, physical, and behavior therapy services in a multidisciplinary, multilingual setting. With multiple clinic locations, a mobile therapy bus, sensory play gyms, Kidology ensures access to high-quality, personalized care for children of all abilities. Recognized by the Inc. 5000 and the Philadelphia Inquirer as top workplace and industry leader, Kidology Inc. remains committed to innovation, inclusion, and measurable outcomes. To learn more, visit kidologyinc.com or follow Instagram at Kidology Inc.